one thing I wanted to ask you is about some examples of, clients that have, if they would have had the employee handbook, they would have been in a much better place. If they would have had the confidentiality agreement in place, then we wouldn't have had to deal with this litigation or this issue. What are some of those examples that you see in the small business world?
Well, the non-solicitation or the confidentiality piece, I mean, employees have an obligation of confidentiality with their employers, but there's no kind of post-employment obligation that employees don't solicit clients. So, a lot of times when I get the call from a new client, it's already too late. Employee left, they went across the street or working for a competitor. They're, sending letters to all of your clients. What can we do? This employee's been with us. They didn't even know these clients. We introduced them. We introduced this employee to these clients when they worked with us. Now they're trying to steal them away. Unless you have an agreement in place, you really don't have any recourse against that employee or any ability to seek any recourse against that employee because they're not doing anything illegal. I mean, nothing says they can't call those clients unless you have an agreement in place that prohibits them from doing so. So that's one of the kind of easy areas to show that of, at that point when you're calling me, it's too late. I mean, we can get something put in place for, current employees and new employees, but if it's not already there, there's no way for you to go, do anything to try to prevent that former employee from calling your clients or your employees, whatever the case may be.
Something you just said prompted me. Can you change the rules? In other words, you have people who signed these documents when they first came on, and now you're putting in a non-compete, not non-compete, non-solicit, and they've been here 2 years. Can you ask them to sign that and expect them to do that?
Good question. In Oklahoma, yes, you can. You're looking at, again, because this is governed by state law, there are some variations to that, but essentially in order to have them sign that agreement, you as the business owner, as the employer, have to provide something to that individual as well. In Oklahoma, you're providing them continued employment. They're continuing to work for you, and that's considered sufficient consideration for asking them to sign a non-solicitation agreement that imposes kind of new obligations, so to speak, upon your current employees. A lot of states, that's the issue. There are a few states that require something additional. I think it's fine to roll it out if you're doing, if you typically do cost of living increase or, normal raises or salary adjustments across the board in January, roll it out at that time. If there is something new you're rolling out, put it in conjunction with that. It's additional consideration. So even though continued employment is sufficient consideration in Oklahoma, it just bolsters the case and adds even more. Also is probably going to be better received by your employees who've been there that have said, oh, now I have to sign this. I've never had to do anything like this before, especially in kind of your sales or industries that have, more of a sales client component to them.
Yeah.
They may be hesitant. So if you have benefits, something new you're rolling out, roll it out in conjunction with that. But otherwise, in Oklahoma, at least you're able to roll it out at any time with your current employees. And if they refuse to sign it, then that can be reasons for you letting them go.